Happy 20.
Yay.
All righty, so let's see, today is Monday, 3 January 2022. It's 2 p.m. and I call this meeting to order.
Yippee.
Okay, so roll call. Pam, do you want to do that? Or you want me to do it? I got the list of names here.
Go ahead.
Okay.
My brain's still trying to acclimate.
Gotcha. All righty. So Greg here. Okay, and Joe.
Yep.
And Pam.
Yep.
Evelyn, okay, and Grant.
Here.
And Phyllis.
Here.
And John Pike. And I know that John probably will not make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish this, to tell you the truth, I wish this was up there.
Well, and I'm gonna go through those names as well. So, and then present, so that's board members. And then for residents, we have Jim Golden. And now I can, I recognize you through the mask. It takes a couple of times. All righty, and then we also have Don Williams. And Frank Eldwin.
How do you spell that last name?
Elduen.
Okay.
And he is a city council member. Is he still muted?
Yes.
Can you unmute him? I'm just gonna.
Let's see if I can figure it out. Might have to ask him to do it. You think he just-
So Frank, if you're muted, can you unmute?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you, Frank. Are you here just as a resident or acting in a city council capacity?
I'm not a liaison for this group, so I guess I would be a regular citizen.
Okay. All right, thank you, Frank, appreciate that. All righty, so, and no others, just that, okay. All righty, so next we have approval of minutes.
Looks like we have somebody.
Oh, somebody else coming in?
Um,
Yeah, I know that Bob and Carol Rose won't be here. Let's see, are they coming in now?
They should be needed by phone. Yes.
Okay, and then the last person who just came in via phone, your name? All right. Okay, so we'll move on with the approval of minutes of December 6th, 2021 meeting. I sent those out on Tuesday, December 14th, 2021, to all members. And so first, I'll ask, does anybody have any corrections to those minutes? Is there anyone who has a suggested correction to the minutes? No? Okay. Alrighty. So do I have a motion to pass the minutes as written presented?
Motion.
Okay, Pam, and a second?
I second it.
Joe, and all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Alrighty. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to old business. All right, so old business. We've got the, I'm just going here so that way I can see everything. This is Marshall. So Marshall Reed from the City Public Works.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Marshall, thank you.
How do you spell the last name?
Reed, R-E-A-D,
Oh, R-E-D.
Just like it sounded.
R-E-A-D.
Oh, R-E. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yep, that's me.
All righty. So first item on our old business is discussion, continued discussion on the city needs to do more, and I wrote in their update. So I think as we had our last meeting, I think we were all on the same sheet of music that we did not want to have this just kind of go by the wayside. We wanted to stick with, keep reviewing it and prioritizing it. Is there anything else that should come up above, a higher priority than the other? Or maybe we want to add that or add to it or combine them, but it's a continued review of those. So after talking with Sarah, the city clerk, is we could treat this the same way that they treat future agenda items on city council. She could actually put it as was considered future agenda items, and they'll always be there. And then I could move any of those up at any time, and we could have it open for a discussion, or any board member can say, hey, well, I'd like to have that moved up. That's right, Sandy?
That's correct.
And a board member could also request to have that moved up for a future specific meeting and open for discussion and go from there. So instead of keeping it as old business and the city needs to do more, I don't really like that. That seems a little, kind of, yeah, it does. And I don't like that. The city, I think, has definitely done a lot over the last, quarter to 6 months. And I really feel that everybody from the city that I've dealt with in public works, city clerk, dealing with city council members, I really feel that everybody understands that the Fresh Waterways or attention is required to the Fresh Waterways. And that's not just talk, but it's also money, it's working and things like that. So how do you guys feel about that? Anybody want to just shout out, let me know how you feel about it? That's great. Yeah, everybody kind of just get that?
So you just basically, you want to change how we address it to a more positive.
Well, and also, instead, because right now, it's not part of the minutes anymore. There is no list,
Right.
right? If we make it as a future agenda items, it will always, it's the bottom, and she'll have it as future agenda items.
On the city docket.
City docket, yeah. And I can do the same thing too.
Well, no, I think we all have that list.
Yeah, and then I didn't bring it because I didn't, one, I really wasn't sure how many were going to show up. Because it's right after the new year, I wasn't exactly sure and didn't know if we wanted to get in any hot and heavy, topics on 3 January. I kind of felt we had other things to talk about as well. But it would be continually on the agenda.
Right, I have that.
Those items and listed by each item,
Mhm.
right?
What I have down is puts us as, can put as future agenda items, so stays on docket, can address as needed that way.
Yes, exactly right. Everybody concur with that? Yes, okay, perfect. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. All right, so the next is the 2022 budget amendment for the storm drain utility system. Now, I don't know if you guys were following that at all. I will say that council approved an increase. Okay, I'm not exactly positive on the increase. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, with your concurrence, is move this to the next meeting as old business again. Next meeting, Angie Folkers, the city finance director, will be at our meeting. And so next meeting, that is going to be the focus of the entire meeting.
Folker, Folker.
E-S,
Huh?
K-E-R-S, Folkers.
Fulgars, yeah.
Good.
And so she'll be here. We've talked and we're on her calendar. She will be here and be. And so at that meeting, it's probably better if we have her and she would be prepared to tell us not just the ins and outs of the budget, which is what we all want to talk about. The city council also, or they passed the resolution or the ordinance, whichever one it is, to do a separate line item for the waterways. I don't know exactly how that looks, but Angie, again, will be able to give us all of that information. We'll hear it directly from the city, and there there shouldn't be any more confusion as to where we can go or a resident can go and find out exactly how much money is brought in and how much of that goes to our waterways. Remember, it's a storm drain utility system, it's not
Right.
just the waterways.
So she'll basically teach us how to do it.
Well, to read it.
Just,
Read, comprehend it, yeah, read it, comprehend it, and hopefully when people ask questions, we'll all be smart enough that we can.
Oh my
God. So I didn't want to
I
get
hope.
into, there was some other things that we requested money for mechanical harvesting and things like that, and those things were approved. I don't know every single one of those exact figures, so I don't want to be what in the Navy we call sea lawyer in this. So I'd much rather just have her tell us all the information at the next meeting.
I will put all that in the next meetings in so I can have numbers.
Okay, beautiful. All right, does everyone concur with that? For next, okay. All right, so the last of the old business is board membership.
Yes.
I did hear back from Joe Bubachek, and Joe is not going to apply for another term on the board.
Oh, I understand that.
And the other two that were up was Phyllis and myself. And Phyllis and myself both have applied for another term.
Thank you.
So I have both of the applications here. With your concurrence, I will forward that to the city clerk and the mayor. That will get put onto the city council agenda. They approve it, and then we would have to get sworn in again with the city clerk. So for Phyllis and myself, for our application for another term on the board, does everyone concur?
Yes.
Any objections to that?
No.
Phyllis, you don't have any objections, do you?
Phyllis and you.
Well, we're all good to go. Okay,
So we'll have one opening.
we'll have one.
Yes.
Now, with that said, is I had contacted, Phyllis gave me a name and an application, and I contacted that person. I have not heard back. And then also I contacted a person who had applied about a year ago.
Okay.
And I'm sure some of you guys remember his name, John Carnes.
Yes, we remember.
And so, and I haven't heard back from John.
Has he retired yet?
I haven't heard back from him.
I think that was the issue.
So if he's out here full time or not, so.
Right.
But I just haven't heard back from him. I'll give, I sent it to, I don't know, some 4 or 5 days ago. I'll
Okay.
give it a couple more weeks. And
It
then-
is the holidays.
Yeah, exactly. Could be on vacation. All right, but where else you want to go on vacation other than Ocean Shores, right?
Yeah, we're on
Staycation. I
vacation.
don't know, something like that. All righty, so for new business, we have tree removal in Fish Hook.
Oh,
Now-
always.
Now, with that said, I'm glad that Marshall is here because Marshall and I have been talking back and forth in emails on this. And so I won't talk for him. Marshall, do you have anything you want to talk about with that or?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to apologize for not having that addressed already. So what I basically need to do is just get reports, like a pre-report out to the Department of Fish and Wildlife with some photographs, letting them know, you know, this is the issue. We want to exercise our right under the hydraulics permit that we already have to remove the trees, and, you know, we'll follow the guidelines that we've been following, you know, up to date. And then once that's done, we'll send a post report. So, you know, we're basically to the point now where I need to just dedicate time to get out there and get my eyes on it enough to be able to write a report and say, you know, it's, and almost with the information Steve's given me and the photos and stuff like that, I could almost crank one out, but I hate to do stuff like that without at least, you know, putting my feet on the ground. And the other thing I need to do is talk to some property owners and find out if we have access to the area that's an issue.
Yeah, all of those have homes.
They do have homes at them.
Yeah, they're not, none of those.
No vacant lots.
Well,
There was, one was a double lot.
it was a double, it was a home and it's a double.
Oh,
lot,
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, I mean,
It's
that's
hard.
where we're at in that process. It's just a matter of me, you know, dedicating some time. I'm hoping to do that this week.
How many trees?
Well, good news, right? we have 2 more trees.
Oh, do we?
We
Awesome.
do.
Yeah,
And actually, one of them is actually almost a year old. It's from the last ice storm. Remember that huge
Oh,
one that
really?
came down at the end of Fishhook? It was just way ridiculous. Nothing that the corporation or advisory board members could get out. I mean, this is
Uh-huh.
a huge.
this is a tree that's leaning over the
Oh, no,
waterway, or?
it's in.
It's in.
It's in
Okay.
the water, yeah.
All right.
It's not on their dock, and that's probably why we haven't heard too much from the gentleman, but
Uh-huh.
it's almost at the end. And one right next to Greg, right? Is it on your property or is it the one over?
It's on mine, but I wouldn't call it a navigation hazard. I'm fine.
You're fine with it for
I'm
right
fine.
now? Okay, all right.
There are 2 cormorants have decided they like it, so.
Okay.
I'm watching that anymore.
Yeah, I know it's not an obstruction, but
No.
it's still.
I'd be happy with it.
Okay, all right.
If it ever breaks off, I can go take care of it.
So what I'll do, Marshall, is I'll give you all the information on that other tree so that means that they're all in Fishhook.
So you got 2 trees,
No, it's now 4,
you have 4 trees.
yes.
Does that include the one that's not down, but it's ready to come down?
Yeah, that's the first one I contacted him about,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
picture with all the ivy on it
Yeah.
and all of that, yeah,
It's just a matter of time.
yeah.
Do you
Now,
guys
that
happen to
is
know-
true obstruction. I actually don't even let my boats go through it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but when I go through it, it is, it's a little tight going between it and the dock. That's
Okay.
over on the north side
Okay.
of the Fishhook Canal.
Yeah,
well, I'm talking about one that's out there, that's not down, it's not buckled or anything.
Yes,
It's just ready to come down.
There's 2, one right after the other, both of those he has.
Okay.
One of them, I don't think I gave him a good picture of. They're sort of side by side. They're maybe about 2 properties apart.
okay.
But I can go back out again. If it stays nice, I can go back out, take another one of my vessels and get out there. It's kind of too hard in a Duffy boat. Greg and I, we went out there and did it, but it's gonna get.
You just have to let me know, and because what I do is I identify a tree, I put a ribbon around it, and I number it, and then I put a placard on it,
Oh, okay.
because I got maps, and I put on the lot number,
Where exactly
and
they're
the
at.
address, and everything,
Yeah,
right on there. I'll take a picture, it's all right there. And
That's-
sometimes we need a second person on the road to verify the lot number
right.
that other than,
Yeah,
but, yeah, the best way to do that is from the workboat.
okay.
Well, I'll contact you, Grant.
Yeah.
And I'll come up with that. Now, with these though, Marshall, these are the ones that are, all of them, just way too big.
Yeah,
for the,
they're gonna require a contractor.
Yes.
So the way I imagine this working is I'll write the report, take John Wagner from the street department out there. And we'll get a tentative game plan together and try to work up a timeline. He'll have a contractor, one of the ones that he's probably used in the past. What I don't know is what the boat requirement's gonna be or whatever, if we're having to do work with the logs in the water once they're dropped. As far as limiting them up and pinning them to the bank, is that something that you guys provided the boating?
Well, that's the corporation. So right now, 2 corporation members we have are Grant and Phyllis.
Okay, and do they still have those boats available, the work boats, to be able to do
Yeah.
that kind of work?
Yeah,
Okay,
In the past, we've used just tree service.
Yeah,
And he's well versed on what we do.
yeah, he's a super, I've known his dad, I firefight with his dad, I have for years,
Yeah,
he's just
and-
great family. So,
And we have the spikes,
Uh-huh.
posts that we use to stake the trees that stay
uh-huh.
up against the bank. We have those.
So kind of give me an idea of how that works between the committee and the corporation. Are you guys the ones, the corporation? Do you guys have the financial and physical ability to do some of this work, or is that how it's worked in the past, or is it the?
It's, the financial part is volunteer.
Right,
We have
Okay.
the equipment, except for when we do the really large trees like
Right.
that, and then that's when Nathan comes and he's the
so
boss at that
the city
point.
contracts with him
The
to
city
do that. Now,
contracts with
does he do that through the Fresh Waterway Committee then, or?
Well,
is that-
always, in the past, it has been, the corporation member who, I think actually the last time it was done was with Alicia. Right? I mean, that's how many years ago.
Yes, that's been, what, about 3 years ago now?
Where you guys took some trees down and pinned them up against the bank and.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has definitely been over 3+ years ago.
Wow.
That they've done that. Everything in the last few years has been done by volunteers.
Right.
And that's the reason why we're the
When they-
advisory board. So with the advisory board, we deal with the city. Corporation doesn't have that direct liaison.
Okay.
And
So when it comes time to bring a contractor in, is that something that we'll coordinate through the committee with to deal with Angie and contracting and that part of it, or
Alicia would take care
of that end of it?
of that end of it,
Okay.
of contacting Nathan.
Okay.
The last time we had one scheduled and Nathan actually had to cancel on us because of the slide there in Hoquiam.
Oh, okay,
He got told to clean up that mess.
okay,
And then that was in an October month, and we never got back to rescheduling that one because of the weather. And then COVID came. So,
yeah,
well,
well,
what I would say to do is probably to, especially since right now, the corporation in the winter time, the corporation, they're not holding their normal meetings and
we're in hiatus.
Yes.
We usually
Okay.
go in hiatus.
Yeah, so
in
what
the
I would
winter
do is I
times.
would say is to, as a Waterways point of contact, would be to contact me. I'll get a hold of both Grant, Phyllis,
okay,
John Pike, who is on the advisory board, is also a corporation.
okay,
I would contact all three of them, so we're all on the same sheet of music
yeah.
with that.
And the
And-
coordination part will be, Grant, you have anything scheduled?
Yeah.
We don't work on Sundays.
Works for me. I just do not work on weekends at all.
Yeah, when we do have a work party, it's usually scheduled around, in the past, Nathan's schedule
Sure.
of when he
Okay.
could get here to work with us, and then, we need to find a home base of where we're going to be setting up at.
When you say we, you're talking about the corporation or the Fresh Waterways Committee, or,
Somebody.
Okay.
You're talking about a home-based lot that you can work from, correct?
Yes,
okay,
Now, my dock is like broken,
yeah,
in case you can't tell.
we knew that.
We're waiting
We
for
kind-
spring.
Yeah, we kind of destroyed that,
It's toast.
yeah.
So we're waiting for spring so we can, repair
Yeah, we should do a work party to help you do that.
it. It's
so
I'll tell you
if
what,
I get things
it's collapsed.
coordinated,
Right.
with Nathan, would there be work boats available during the winter time from the corporation to be able to conduct that work, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
And that would be Grant, they're at Grant's house.
Okay.
And,
He's the captain.
he's
Okay,
the-
boat
you're the skipper,
he's
all
the
right,
skipper, yeah,
awesome,
and so they're in the, we don't really take them out in the winter time. We use them all winter long, it just depends for what.
yeah,
And-
okay,
Emergencies.
Well, for this particular one, let's just go ahead and you go ahead and keep me as the contact. I will keep all three of them, John, Grant, and Phyllis, in the loop.
that's probably a
And-
great way to,
Yeah,
Yes,
that way,
that's why.
yeah, and then I'll keep them in the loop if there's something where Grant is really the one that has to be free, because not only, one, the boats are his property, and two, is he is the captain of the boats.
And
And
maintenance.
he has the tool, some tools and things like that, so he has to be available. So it would be a
Sure.
matter of us working with Nathan and Grant's
to
schedule.
kind of coordinate around their
That's right.
schedules to
Yeah.
get things going,
And
and
then-
I'll do that through you.
Okay,
That
perfect.
sounds like a great way.
Yeah.
one thing you have to realize is that the only guys on the front of the boat to do work would be Nathan and Steve and
John.
John.
And me if I'm off.
And we
John
he's
Wager
got shoulder
or,
problems.
John.
John's
John,
not that
okay.
well. And I
okay,
have to hang
so,
on to stuff to keep from falling.
yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, and,
Some of us, usually the women will work the shore.
it's one of those things where if I can finagle the time to help, I'm not beyond, I mean, pretty handy with a chainsaw, and I've been a boat operator, as a deckhand on the ocean for years, and so I'm comfortable on the water. I surf almost every day, and
Okay.
so if
Sounds good.
I can wiggle that in, and the mayor doesn't have a problem with me contributing to your guys' effort, you know, I would love to help out, so.
Awesome.
We would need probably some help from the city, some manpower.
Yeah, well, that would,
Sure, could pull and stuff.
yeah,
Chipper.
yeah,
Yeah, we,
you would coordinate that through John
Yeah.
Wagner in the
yeah,
street department,
John,
so,
usually we just tell John where they're at
and then he'll come chip them
and
out.
he'll come ship them out.
Okay,
But we don't need them the whole period, you just need them at
Right.
the end, because
Right.
we accumulate a great big bush.
sure,
That chipper just eats them up,
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
and we don't need to have them just sitting there.
yeah, okay,
So we can get a great big pile for them, then we can have them come
come
down.
down, chew it up.
Mhm.
Excellent. Okay, well, I'll touch base with him and try to get out there and touch base with a couple of the property owners and see what kind of, you know, access we can get without, you know, jumping through too many hoops and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go through it again and make sure that I get you the right addresses.
Okay,
The ones I've already given you are good, it's just
Okay.
that last tree.
okay,
Can't remember what that guy's name is, for some reason, Ernie something is coming up, but that could be wrong, I don't know, I have it somewhere here in my book. Anyway, I'll get that to you. So, all right, that was the main thing for tree removal, and again, I really am glad, Marshall, that you were able to make it today, so that.
yeah, I apologize
talk
for my,
directly to
you know, not
you.
being here more, it's just one of those things where planning right now is, we're so overwhelmed that,
Yeah.
you know, it's, you know, there's several spokes in the wheel and they're all spinning pretty fast right now, so.
Yeah.
I'd like to spend more time with you guys and at least, you know, be able to contribute something to the effort.
Is there anything else that we need to, on your side, Marshall, need from us to get, to do the pre-report or?
I don't think so.
anything?
If I can get pictures and whatnot, I think
Okay.
that I can, you
All right.
know, get something to Portia and let her know what our intent
Okay,
is.
all right.
Do you know, is it my understanding that Portia was the point of contact? Is that who you guys sent the reports to, or are you guys aware of Alicia
We-
sending those to?
No,
Portia?
Alicia never told us who she
Okay.
was,
Okay.
That name sounds familiar, though. I have an email from Nick, or maybe it's from Alicia. That name sounds very familiar. I can get in there.
She's
I
kind of
can
my
get in there.
regional contact person, biologist from
Okay.
Fish and Wildlife.
Okay.
I would say it's probably reasonable.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and on that email, there's the HPA that's attached to it, the
Yep.
most current one.
Yep.
Okay, so any members, do you guys have anything on tree removal? Or leave your tree alone for now? No neighbors are gonna be screaming and yelling or
They
nothing?
have milk across the way, nobody can be screaming.
Gotcha.
Grant.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Grant.
My next door neighbor has requested the outboard half of 2 different trees be removed because they're trying to upset and uplift his yard. And he's had a request in for years now, and I gave a copy of the request. And it was supposed to be done right after Bob had his sunstroke. And that's where we
Oh, that's a
stopped.
long
He was-
time ago.
Yes,
That was.
and he never got his trees removed.
Well, so these are trees or these
They
are
stumps.
the
These are
stump with
trees,
the root ball?
these are trees with a stump and a root ball. It's
Can
sort
that
of a
be
double, it's a
taken out?
V shape.
So are you guys all aware of the dynamic shoreline, and that there's a lot of shoreline that's got a significant amount of city property
Oh, yeah.
between?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and so how do you guys typically handle that, like, in a request like this, if the trees, are in danger of tipping over or whatever, you know, in order to impact the shoreline's, vegetative buffer, we're gonna have to show cause where it would be damaging to something other than city shoreline. And I'm curious if that was given, you know, consideration when you guys look at these different aspects. If it's a danger,
Yeah.
then everything comes off the table and we look to take it out, but if it's,
Well, and when we cut the trees, we don't take out root balls.
You're leaving the root balls.
They,
Oh, yeah.
they stay.
Yeah.
It's
We
just
leave
the
the stump.
tree
And in a
itself.
situation like what you're talking about, if you took the tree off, that would stabilize the root balls, we could pin it against the bank and.
Yeah.
Okay,
And that was what the plan was. It was just, it just kept getting put off because there was other trees that were
more dangerous, yeah.
more,
But that's what I mean, it's gotta cross that threshold of it's a
Right.
legitimate danger.
yeah, it was like we just had too many there. That one year, there was just so many of them that were so close to coming down.
Oh,
If we can get the
wow.
ones that are on the list now knocked out, and then look at these two that you're talking about, you know, once we get the process rolling,
Yeah.
you know, maybe we can, you know, expand on what we're doing there.
Yeah, there's definitely some trees that we need to work on throughout the whole system.
I mean, even I
So-
have one that's,
Is it coming down or just the trimming?
Both down on Duck Lake, out on Duck Lake, there's 3 trees that are down, absolutely not obstructed. We're talking the south part of Duck Lake, but still huge trees that are way down, right?
Yeah,
So, but again, it's one of those things that we can get out there, we can take pictures, forward it, and then, I get, for right now, you are the point of contact, but, so we'll forward it to you, and
Yeah.
then you can talk with Fish and Wildlife and decide, hey, that comes out, or it doesn't come out, or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
yeah.
But there's definitely, some tree and wax myrtle, brush that are, again, not hindering navigation, but
looking iffy.
way down in the water.
Yeah, and some of that, Fish and Wildlife and the Department of Ecology from a wetland standpoint, they look at that as pristine habitat. You know, it gives places for the otters to sneak along the bank without being seen. Gives the raccoons a place to, you know, get along without being exposed and whatnot, so we just gotta find that balance between.
Sure.
The ice storms killed me last year, when all that stuff started laying out in the lakes, guys were wanting to get out there and start chopping stuff up, and it's just, you can't do it without a shoreline exemption, so, we just need to be sensitive to that when we're talking about, non-prescriptive vegetation control.
The Duck Lake beavers, they don't care about paperwork.
Hey, I don't know what to tell you about that,
Well, because they spotted my palm tree.
oh, no
And
kidding.
they dropped it, and they
Oh.
topped it, and they drug it into the water,
No,
never to be seen again.
no kidding.
My neighbor's palm tree came down and, I mean, to below the ground, and I have no idea what happened to it. It
Palm
was
trees are
like
delicious.
one night.
So are lilacs.
Lot of trees.
So,
Yeah.
all right, I just
Okay.
wanted to throw that out there on the
Yes.
table, so you know, I'm bound by about 3 different sets of regulations when it comes to the shorelines. It's understood that all of the lakes and canals and ocean shores having freshwater emergent wetland that comes from the edge of the water up onto the land. In some cases, it's only a foot or 2 wide. I've got some places on the southwest portion of Duck Lake where it's 20 or 30 feet wide. And so I'm trying to get back in the good graces of the Department of Ecology, and I've had a lot of success lately. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware that, you know, they have this understanding that we've been, you know, somewhat, not this group, but the city is you know, when you're painting with a broad brush, kind of rogue as it goes towards the environmental regulations. And so, you know, we're showing a lot of efforts here recently, and they're pretty happy with what they've seen, just so you guys are aware of, you know, those documents do exist, and
Yes, we are
I've
very
been lit up a couple times, so.
Well, you know, and again, the ones, in Fish Hook, there's the 4 trees, there's
Yeah.
the one that's fully down, huge tree, right?
Yeah,
And then the other one you got a good picture of, and then the other 2, literally, as I'm taking my boat under it, it scrapes the boat.
yeah.
So,
See, that's just
and it didn't used to do that at the beginning of summertime, so
Yeah.
it's coming down, right?
And those are totally legitimate. We're not gonna have any problems with
Okay.
ecology or Fish and Wildlife when it comes
Right.
to those kind of issues.
Yeah, because that's definitely a.
In the
absolutely,
past,
yeah.
all of our requests have always been approved.
Yeah, I don't
I
see.
mean, they know that we kind of don't randomly go out there and, you know, when you say the wax myrtle, unless it's a threat of falling down onto a boat, just because it's next to the shoreline, just like Greg is saying, don't take this out. It's not a navigational hazard.
Okay.
We leave those. We won't clear the brush just because it's
Excellent.
down in
Yeah.
there. It's like, no.
Well, that keeps us on firm footing with the
Yeah.
other agencies.
Well, the thing is that there's two particular wax myrtles I'm talking about on the Grand Canal,
Uh-huh.
and they literally are broken and
Yeah.
hanging down. So what I get concerned about is that if that breaks off, now that is going to go into the water,
Possibly.
right? So that's the reason why I said that that's not an important issue right now.
Right.
It's just one of those things is,
We need to-
I give you the information, you take a walk by and go, oh, hey, that's fine, or no, that's something that should be reviewed. So,
Yeah.
yeah, easy day. Okay, so, all righty, I think we're good to go with that. Okay? That's
We get a free tree if you can't get the phone number.
I'll give it to you. Okay, so it's 360
Okay,
580
580
4465.
4465.
Yeah, and that is available online too, I believe.
Okay, all right, so we're good to go now with that. Next will be public comment, and we'll start with Mr. Golden. I have none.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
All righty, Mr. Williams, go ahead.
Yeah, I just listening. I'm a resident on the Fingers side of the fresh waterways, and just listening, I appreciate the opportunity to tune in. That's all I got. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, and Frank Eldon? Frank, you're muted. I can't hear you if you're trying to come in. Okay. All right, was there anybody else?
No, that was it.
All righty. Okay, so good of the order. And Greg.
No.
Okay, Joe.
Just one thing, this is probably gonna be my last meeting, but I appreciate everybody here. All doing terrific work. And keep it up.
Well, we'll miss you, baby. You can always come visit.
I'll probably be sitting out there next time.
That'll work.
We got your number for a work party. So.
You're still committed.
All right, that's good.
Okay. All right. Okay, Pam.
I think it's looking good so far. I'll have to go back and look at, those again to see what all he had to say. I mean, I read through it, but I'll have to do it again.
Okay. If you actually go and just listen to last meeting, the first hour or maybe an hour.
That's
and 20
probably better
minutes,
than reading it.
It is because not with the slides, he also kind of went back and forth with the slides.
Right.
When questions were asked, he would reference the slides.
Mhm.
So listening to it, I gotta tell you, I got a lot more out of him sitting here listening to him than I did.
With a report.
Try to read that report.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, Grant?
No,
Okay, Phyllis?
I'm good,
Okay.
other than 7 swans on Lake Menard. yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Haven't seen any around.
I think they were-
They're back.
Oh.
And 3 flew over today.
Great.
flying.
Oh.
The swans are back. Yes,
Good pictures?
they were too far away.
Ah,
I'm gonna go to Perkins Pond though, to see if I
Oh,
can get
yeah.
some.
definitely want to see some there, and maybe some otters too, right?
I don't have to go to Kearns. I just look out the window.
Well, the otters go up and down Fish Hook all the time.
Okay, all right, so I'm the last one, and I have just a couple of quick things. One, I was contacted by Nancy, the director of the Coastal Interpretive Center, and she would like to work with the advisory board and maybe even the corporation on receiving a grant for the Interpretive Center on education of fresh waterways. And so I kind of wanted to put that out there. She's going to be sending me more information to read up on what the grant is for, what would they do with the grant. She kind of had in her mind was thinking maybe some sort of projects where elementary school, high school kids could go out and do water testing, things like that, that would be part of their curriculum in school as well, things like that. So I was going to ask her if she wanted to come to a meeting and she could give us a lot more detail about that, but I just kind of wanted to throw that out there and let you know about that. Yes.
I like to bring up something that we looked down the road at,
Okay.
and I bring it up occasionally, and
Mhm.
that's temporarily damming up the spillway about 6 inches and then selectively releasing it. Get a game plan for like a day or 2 days releasing it in the fall when you have all the algae problems. To flush some of the system and then close the gate back up. It would take like maybe a couple, 2 or 3 days to lower the dam. It'd be like a little door that could raise and lower. And but 6 inches would be enough to probably do a big help. But it takes planning ahead.
Do you think
Well, I
that
would
would help?
imagine dealing with the Corps of Engineers, Fish and Wildlife, Department of Ecology, all those fun people, right?
Yep.
And also, I wonder, 6 inches doesn't sound like a lot.
It is.
It's a lot, and the docks around here are built to water level. You're gonna put a lot of docks underwater.
Unless you have a 40 now.
They are.
Yeah.
Do you think raising it 6 inches in the summer would help with the algae issue and stuff in Lake Fish Hook or not? Or
Well,
would it
actually,
increase it?
actually, that was brought up last time when Doug was here, right? And I don't recall that, if I recall correctly, I thought he said that it wouldn't actually help with.
Wouldn't help at all.
Algae. And I mean, that's going in regards to yours, but, yeah. Well, so it's one of the things that we can definitely add to the list, Grant, we can add that to, I know that's not, that particular is not on the list. But what we could do is at the March meeting, we could bring up specifically about projects, because February is all gonna be about the finance side with Angie and all that. We need to dedicate the meeting to that. But we can talk about it in March and go over those projects, because I know we kind of just added a few things in there, like a culvert should be over there by the Weatherwax on Ocean Lakeway Bridge, do something with Fisher Canal, that kind of thing, right? And so that could be put under those projects as well. And one, you can figure out what the feasibility of doing something.
You're talking about flushing the system, basically.
Selectively
Flushing
flushing,
the
Right.
system.
yes.
Right.
That's why I was wondering if that would help Fish Hook, because it would create a little bit of flow.
Well,
Well, you gotta have water coming in in order for
Yeah,
that to happen.
yeah.
I think that's the problem over here.
See, on our
There's no water coming in the
I mean, you
summer.
got a little bit of spring, which is not enough to bring the level up, because if you notice at the dam, you're a foot below the dam most of the summer.
well, see, this is exactly why I said that we need to hire an environmental scientist, but just as a heads up, that is not gonna happen, just so everybody.
Oh, we're not
knows.
gonna,
That's
that,
not gonna happen.
the full-time is nowhere.
No,
Okay.
not gonna happen.
I'm going back to the minutes of
Yeah.
what it is, and there was discussion about city limits. You were going to check on their coming into town, where our city limits were.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. No, but no, we did. Nick and I, we got that figured out.
Oh, okay.
So that part that Nani
Mhm.
asked about, that is not city limits. It literally, so those houses that are on the far east part of Rain Street, and then behind them, you have that wetland,
Mhm.
right, which is what she was talking about.
Mhm.
The city limit literally is right in between that property line and that wetland. And then as it gets over to the Nate's vintage thing,
Right.
then it goes back up, goes up to the 109 and then shoots over and that becomes, so it's very odd.
There's a dog leg in there, yeah.
Yes, mhm, yeah. So, yeah, we actually figured it out the day of the meeting.
Yeah. It was fun.
But, yeah, so, yeah, actually, Pam, if you could get that into the minutes, I can send it to you.
What is that?
I'll send it to you exactly what Phyllis was talking about.
Perfect,
And now, because that does answer the question of Nani from,
okay, sounds
From
good.
the last
from the
meeting.
last meeting.
okay,
Yeah.
just don't wait too long to do it,
No, I'll send it when I get it.
because I like to
No, I know.
get the
I'll send
minutes
it when I get
done
it. And that way, because
quicker.
yeah, I know, and that was, again, it was at the last meeting. Okay, so that was one thing that I had, and then the second thing that I had of good of the order was, well, I guess we talked a little bit about it, was about the Fresh Waterways Corporation is on hiatus for the winter time, which means they're not having meetings. So, but this also is a time when we got things coming down from the trees, not big trees we need help with, but this is branches and whatnot. And so we might need to get in there and do a little bit of just pulling out those branches. When Greg and I went through, it's been about 3 weeks now, right? Yeah, when we went through, there was.
Well,
there's
we have the
branches and
windstorms in the winter and that brings them all down.
But that's not trees, right? So that's the difference. We're talking
You're
about
talking
those
about
branches
branches
that
that
fall
are
down.
Branches, yeah,
Yeah,
they get in the
So-
way.
yeah. So Mother Nature's de-limbing her own, right? And so, and that has become a serious navigation issue. You can get caught in a prop, can screw up your hull or something like that. So I'll work with, but I'm just letting everybody know that maybe we need to get out there for an hour or so, just to get through there real quick, just to get out any of those small branches, no trees.
Is that where most of your guys' navigational issues are at, is in Fishhook, going between Grand Canal and the Duck Lake? Is that-
So 3 areas, Fishhook and getting into Menard, but the Menard issue
That's a great
is,
issue.
is the sandbars.
Yeah.
And then also, we can get kind of caught up there with some branches and weeds going under Point Brown Bridge.
Okay,
And then going under the Chance Bridge, that's always a disaster.
Getting into the vast canal.
mhm, okay.
Yeah,
Y'all really
Probably
work
North
hard
Road
on Bass Canal.
and the
this
Chance.
last summer.
and the Chance, yeah, that's right, come get into the Bass and the Chance.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's always these small areas.
Yeah.
That's
Choke
always,
points, yeah.
The
But out there-
north low of the Duck Lake, that whole passage there,
oh, yes.
that's always filled with lilies. Under Chancellor. Is that Chance?
Yeah, that's. Chance.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, right.
So all, those are always the problem, and the problem for the right reason. The fish hook, the issues are, I mean, it's fully tree lined, right?
Yeah.
And of course, Mother Nature likes to bring some of that stuff down.
That's what we like about the tree line.
You gotta love it, but it requires.
It's a lot of maintenance, I know. We're always
So,
pulling
Grant,
stuff
are
out.
you available this month if we have another nice day like today was to get out there just to pull up a couple branches? There's not many, just a couple. Okay, and I'll talk with John.
Yeah,
And
as long as
see
I'm
if
not
you guys
working.
are available as well, again, small job. This is nothing like what we had to deal with last year. But I kind of wanted to get them out of there because they can become a nuisance when it becomes.
Would you drag for them?
Say again?
You drag for the branches, or you just
No,
gonna grab by hand?
they're just hanging out, just right up there. Yeah, you can see them bobbing. Yeah.
Is there a way to get the city to buy some of those grappling hooks? We loaned the city a grappling hook and line to snag something out of the north end of Bass Canal.
And get it back.
And we got it back, it was all
Oh, mangled?
bent out. of
Oh, no. Is it a stainless hook or what was the makeup on it? Was it a a commercially fabricated one, or?
No, it was just, this one that you get offline for about $16,
Oh, okay.
and,
Do we not have any over at the barn?
pardon?
Don't we have any over at the barn?
We
some
have
reason-
one over the
We have
barn,
not,
but
but I
it's
thought
a
I saw one.
solid welded, it's heavier.
I have a grappling hook if you need one.
Yeah, this is one that springs open,
It's not
and
huge.
it's lightweight.
Oh,
It can
okay.
Snag weeds or it can
Uh-huh.
snag branches. And I can bring it in and. give
Yeah,
it to you.
if they borrowed it and whatnot, it was damaged or.
If they
misplaced,
broke it, they buy
They
it.
buy it, that's right, that's how I look at it.
But another thing is, if it's something that the residents can borrow, just like those weed rigs,
Yeah,
they could borrow these grappling hooks and they can get stuff off
Yeah.
out of the water.
We
from
use
their
ours to
property.
pull in the penny ward.
Yeah,
That's, I mean, the penny ward in front of our dock, you know this, it will literally go completely across, the boats cannot go through
yeah.
without just making a mess out of your boat. So my husband and I, he gets out in this kayak and he tries to push him towards the shore
Mhm.
and then we're grappling hooking and unfortunately we lost our dock this year. Normally we pull them up on the dock and let them drain, you know, but we do that constantly. That's a
I'll get you
constant
the grappling hook.
in the
They're
summer,
like $16.
Yeah.
because those boats
But
can't.
we
get
loaded
through.
the city and they snagged this pipe or whatever it was, and they got it back to us. I got the line,
Yeah,
but the grappling hook was shit.
it's pretty well made.
Mangled.
Mangled.
Yeah. Give me a call and I'll have you drop it by the office or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll get it sort of like.
Last time.
Or do I need to order more?
Little bulkhead across the way and
Do you need to order more?
it's total summer.
Well, actually, we should get more than one because
Yeah, I will look at them and then I'll.
I
see
couldn't
what
believe
they-
it.
they're online. They're
Yeah.
like $16.
Yeah, I'll do some research on
So
it.
you're saying the corp will look at purchasing them?
It would be for the corporation.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get about 6 of them, then you
You want
can
to
check
have
them
weed coming
out.
up already again?
I don't want to check them out. I don't trust people with, I mean, I'm sorry, you're asking for a line and poked out or something.
Yeah.
It's like, nah.
Well, we'll have to work out that detail, but.
Yeah.
But they're great for
All
getting stuff
right,
out of the water.
okay, so let's see. Gone through the full agenda.
Nice.
And it's 9 minutes still.
Yeah, so it is, it's 2:52.
Are we
And
done?
I adjourn this meeting. Next meeting will be February 7th, 2022, 2 p.m. here in the library. And just as a reminder, that will be Angie Fuller's. We're talking finance stuff at that meeting. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everybody. Happy 2022. Yep.
Thank you.
Sayonara.